Hi, I'm Lucy from Blossom and Friday, and I'm going to show you today how you can make your own fabric labels for your craft project or for an heirloom doll like I'm doing. So I wanted to find some labels and I couldn't quite find the ones that I wanted. I didn't want to order 1,000 and I wanted them to have a particular look and a particular size. So in the end I just decided to make my own, and this is a really easy and fun way to do that. So all you need is some transfer paper. I use this one, it's great and it's for light colour. So if you're using a light colour fabric as your base for the labels, then you'll need a light colour, and if you're using a dark fabric you'll need a dark. And you'll need a piece of fabric. Depending on how many labels you're making, you'll want something probably at least this size to start out with, maybe more. I use plain white cotton, but you could use obviously different colours. Cotton is ideal. So you're going to need a logo. Now I am planning on doing a video on this in the future of how to create your own logo, so look out for that. I'll link to it when that's available. But you're going to need to think about the sizing of the labels that you want. So mine are made to fit my doll. I've created a couple of templates for you to use, one that just says handmade, that's really cute if you want to use something like that, and one that's blank to add your own logo. Sign up to the link below to download these files. So if you download the JPEGs, you'll see, if you open them up, I've opened mine up in Canva because I love Canva and I use it all the time. You can see there's the handmade label here, and it's reversed because you'll need to have it reversed when you iron it onto your fabric. So if you're not using that and you want to use your own, then use the blank template, or you can create your own. This is just to show you how you can do it. So I take my logo, got the blank template open as a JPEG in Canva, and I'm just resizing my logo to fit. You have to pay attention to the central line if you're going to have a fold. So the Blossom and Friday part is obviously going to be at the front, and then you might want something at the back. So I'm going to add this little sewing needle just as to show you. So that will be on the underside. You can of course put that upside down if you want the upside down to be the other way, if that makes sense. I don't. I've got on mine, it says Design to Delight, and it is just in the same direction as that. I'm not too bothered about the underside of the label. You might want to put care information here or safety information too. Now, as I said before, you're going to have to reverse this. So you just click on the picture of your logo and you press in Canva and you press flip and it will reverse it. You need this so that when you're ironing it on, it's the right way around when it's actually finished. So you can then just copy and paste that onto the different sections. If you do a row of 4, you can then right click and select them all, and you can create them as a group. So you can make them into a group and then you can just copy and paste all of them so that you do the next lines easier. I do love Canva, it's so intuitive. Just play around with it a little bit, and of course you could just come up with your own. You don't need to use my template, but it's just a helpful guide in case you're not sure. So I've copied that over, and then if I was going to be printing these, then I'd be adding that needle design to all of them as well if I wanted them to. I would then download this and print it according to the instructions. So I've done this here on paper. You'll notice this particular one that I'm cutting here is the wrong way around. I did this because I wanted to test one first, the right way around, just to see how it looked. So I held it against an heirloom doll that I'd already made, and I liked the size of that. So I was happy with that. I went ahead and printed it in reverse, as you can see, and just continue to follow the instructions according to your t-shirt transfer paper and iron it onto your fabric. And once they're done, you can remove that and you can start to cut them. I've cut mine, I've left a lot of the gap in between. I haven't cut on the little perforated line that's part of the graphic. I've actually cut about 1 centimetre or ½ an inch either side, just to allow me to fold that. So obviously I can't put my hot iron on it at this point because it does have the transfer plastic or whatever it is on there. So I'm just going to press it down with my scissors to get a nice fold before I put it under the machine. And then I'm just going to take that to the sewing machine and I'm just going to sew a line down from the top to the bottom. You could do it in a different colour thread. I'm doing mine in a whitish colour, a cream colour, and just sew down either side to secure those folds into place. And then fold the labels over, and I put a little stitch at the top just to hold them in place so I can have a little stack of them next to me as I work. So if you're sewing these into a doll or a Blossom and Friday creation, then make sure you have the front side of the label facing the front side of the doll. So when you've got all of the front of your doll pieces together and you're about to put the back pieces on to sew them together, mark a space where you're going to put the label. I make it nice and clear on there, and place the front of the label facing towards the front of the doll with the open end of the label facing out. If that makes sense. So front end onto the front of the doll. Now you could obviously put it a different side. You need to figure out which way up you want it to look. I want mine to kind of look like this. Let's say this is the finished doll. I want mine to stick out like that. So if that's how you want yours, then make sure you have the front side facing the doll. At this point, I will then pin into place and put a little stitch on the outside of that sewing line just to hold it into place so it doesn't kind of slip, and then place the pieces together. You can see here that I've done that. I've actually sewn over it a couple of times and just trim the excess and then carry on making the doll as normal. So you can see here the label's in place. I'm really happy with that. I might potentially move it up a little bit next time, and I'm off to embroider his face. So there we have the finished creation with the label sewn into place, and I just think it adds a certain something extra. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you make some fabric labels, do share with me on Instagram. I'd love to see them. And you can take a look at my digital sewing patterns in the link below. There's lots of different options for creations such as this, heirloom dolls of different types. And if you have a look at my website, there's also a free pattern to make a cute little flower, and you can make that in different sizes. Thanks ever so much. See you soon.